You know what we fantasy fans never get tired of? Great adaptations. You know what we do get tired of? Bad adaptations. So today, I'm diving into the vault to share 10 classic fantasy series that absolutely deserve a modern, high quality, faithful adaptation. Plus, an honorable mention I'll throw in because I always have trouble just getting 10, but one that could easily steal the show if it also was done right. Because with all the money these days, the studios seem willing to throw at elves, dragons, magic. Maybe it's time they mined some of the actual gold from fantasy's past. Hey there, fantasy friends. Jim here. Welcome back to Fantasy for the Ages, where I get to talk about the stories that shape our imaginations and sometimes break our hearts. If you love epic fantasy, dark fantasy, or just a good excuse to geek out about dragons and destinies, then you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and ring that bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes. And a big thank you to our Patreon supporters. You're the ones that keep this channel soaring higher than dragons on Threadfall Day. If you'd like to join our community and get some fun perks, you'll find the link to our Patreon page down in the show notes. Today, as I talk about the best fantasy series of the past that truly ought to receive the adaptation treatment, I brought a couple of friends, veterans of fantasy and YouTube, whom you may remember from past appearances. So let me bring in Bill and Glenn. Ta-da!
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everyone.
Great to see you guys.
Good to see everybody.
Why don't you tell our viewers a little about yourselves, just in case they missed the episodes where you've been here before?
Well, hi, my name is Bill, also known as Matt Stagger. I am a husband, father, and occasional cursed object, spreading corruption slowly. Glenn and I together have a YouTube channel called Non-Terrestrial Half-Life, where we reread books we read in the first half of our life to see if they stand the test of time or if it's just nostalgia that makes them think they're good books. So pretty soon we will have the Dark Elf trilogy, all 3 videos dropping relatively soon within a month.
Yes.
Nice. And I like to think
can.
usually when you read these books from long ago, they are still good.
Mostly, yes.
Yeah.
Mostly, yes.
Occasionally, no. But mostly, yes.
There have been a couple of bad ones. A couple that were painful to read.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, our perspective changes as we get older, as we get a little more worldly, less naive. So. Yeah.
Yeah. Characters we thought we loved, we look at now and go, ooh, that's questionable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It happens.
Authors we thought we loved and now wonder.
It happens.
Indeed. Sometimes the books age well, but they haven't.
Right.
There is that. J.K. Rowling.
Well, my friends, somehow the years have flown by, and what we now look at it as classic fantasy was just for us fantasy. And I think because we are of a similar age, a similar era, we have some credibility here to speak with some authority on the topic of the best classic fantasy that deserves a modern adaptation. For the sake of our definition here today, we're considering classic fantasy as any series that began in the 60s, 70s, or 80s, just because you got to pick something. So that's kind of where we're going with. It may have ended much later than that, but starting 60s, 70s, or 80s. What I've done, viewers, is I've crafted my own personal ranked top 10 classic fantasy series that could make for exceptional modern adaptations with the money and capabilities that are available these days. I mean, some of these could be just freaking incredible. And my guests have done the same. They have their own personal list. We have not shared these with each other. So we've got a little element of fun surprise and discovery for ourselves as we do this for you. I'm going to reveal my list first from the bottom up, and they'll let us know each time, is mine on their list anywhere? If so, where? How does it fall for them? when I'm done with mine, and we're going to take time to chew on each one a little bit. Why would it be a good adaptation? What are the pitfalls? Whatever comes to mind for us. But whatever they have that I haven't covered, we will cover at the end as well and see what other gems they're bringing out for us. I think you're going to have a great list of flashes from the past that you either haven't thought of in a long time or maybe never did, and should go back and read these books and see why we think they'd be fantastic. If there's anything you want to say about any of them, or indeed, if there's other ones that none of us mentioned and you're like, are you kidding, guys? Why did you forget this? Put them in the comment box. We'd love to hear what you're thinking too.
I'm sure there'll be some of those.
Yeah, there's gotta be.
I know there will be.
Let's crack open the spell book of classic fantasy now, and we'll start with one that almost made my top 10. So my one honorable mention. Honestly, I cheat so often like this on my top 10s that I'm proud there's only one honorable mention. Okay, but I'm bringing the Darini Chronicles by Catherine Kurtz, 1970 to 2009, a series that blends medieval court politics, religious tension, and psychic power struggles in a way that makes you go, wait, why hasn't HBO already done this one? I mean, it's got everything. It's got the magic formula. The Darini are a gifted minority persecuted by church and crown alike. So it's kind of like there's elements from Game of Thrones meeting the spirituality of The Exorcist in this. I mean, this could be big. I think long overdue for the prestige spotlight. Either of you think of this one?
No, honestly, I forgot about it.
Hey,
you mentioned it, and I'm like, oh God, I read that in 9th grade. I remember, yeah, I forgot all about it, honestly.
I remember seeing the books on the shelf all the time. The only Catherine Kurtz that I've read, I think, was the Adept trilogy, which was also set in the real world, but it was like the modern real world. It was a modern fantasy. But yeah, the Darini stuff I've seen and I've just never read. I plan to someday, hopefully in the next year or so.
Oh, there's so many books we can all say that about.
Yeah, I know it's a huge list.
A lot of material, a lot of source material they could draw from. All right, that was the one. I'm not surprised though that neither of you had on, because that's the biggest swing. That's not of course. It's just out there. My top 10, I think, are a little more of course. So for number 10, I'm bringing the Chronicles of Prydain. Lloyd Alexander, 1964 to 1968. Okay, so it's on Bill's list. You know, before Harry Potter, before Percy Jackson, we've got Terran, the assistant pig keeper. His adventures across a Welsh-inspired land are heartfelt, humorous, full of real growth. I mean, we, of course, know Disney did The Black Cauldron.
Yep.
That was really a cute film, but a failure to truly deliver the Chronicles of Prydain. You know, it just
not even
got
close.
A little snippet. Well, that was kind of quirky. And I remember as a kid watching that going, what the heck is going on? I was very confused.
Yeah.
But with today's technology and tone, this series could actually finally get the treatment it deserves. It could be similar to The Witcher in what it delivers on the screen, but with a little more soul to it. That's my thought on that.
Possibly.
I could see Apple TV taking a stab at this and really developing an audience. They're paying particular attention to sci-fi right now. Right. But I'm just waiting for them to reach out to that fantasy because it's there. It's just waiting for the right company to come in. And
that's interesting because, they've been nailing the sci-fi. Watch everybody else make their stumbles with fantasy and then finally maybe come and deliver one with Apple Plus quality. Could be something.
I think it's great that you mentioned this series because, to be honest, Non-Terrestrial Half-Life exists because I was thinking of rereading Chronicles of Prydain. Now, I haven't reread it yet, but it was on my mind. It was something I was thinking of reading, and I'm like, hey, Bill, I want to do this as a channel, and that's what happened.
There it is, an inspiration.
Chronicles of Prydain was the reason why. That and another series I'll mention later are the two series that are like, I need to reread these, so let's make a channel out of it.
There you go. Love it. Was this one on your list, Glenn? In your top 10? Okay.
No.
All right, my number 9. This one's here because, honestly, when I read it, it didn't sing for me like it does for a lot of people, but I see all the pieces that could make a great adaptation. And that's the Belgariad and Malorian saga by David Eddings.
That's on my list. That was the one I was going to mention.
Okay. I mean, think of the pieces. We got a farm boy, we got prophecy, we got a band of quirky companions. Very cliche nowadays, but that's because Eddings made it cliche. This is what he pulled together, and others followed the pattern. But
He's the blueprint.
Yeah, the blueprint. Perfect word. It's witty, it's fast-paced, it's brimming with charm, these characters that he developed. This perfect ensemble. You know, we've got other shows that are based on ensemble that have tried things, The Wheel of Time, Shadow and Bone. But if we can put this together, bring Garion and Polgara out there, you know, boom, this could be a hit.
I have not read it, and it's one of the reasons Glenn has it on our TBR list for Non-Terrestrial Half-Life. He's like, you're going to love it, and I want to reread it. So
my regret with this series is I didn't read it when I was young. I read it since I've been doing the channel. As I'm reading, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with this story, except I've read so much more now. So I wish I'd read it and fell in love with it like so many did years ago.
Yeah, I read these as a teenager. They were very foundational in how I looked at fantasy from then on. They're a big reason why I knew right away who the main character of The Wheel of Time was. You know, like there was never a mystery who the dragon was.
The mold, the blueprint. Yes.
Yep. You know, now, even though the Malorian is telling the same story a second time, you kind of need to do, you know, you kind of need to follow it up.
They go together.
So,
yeah.
I would do it if I was running the show. I would do it as 1 9-10 season show. You know, 1 season per book. Maybe crunch the first 5 books into a couple seasons, but
yeah, they don't tend to want to go more than 8 seasons at the most.
Yeah.
And no more than 8 episodes a season, which just drives me nuts. I mean, we remember when shows came out with 24 episodes. Season, What the heck? Why can't we do that anymore?
26 episodes. There were times where it was 26 episodes a season.
Yeah. I miss those.
Yeah. Now you read some of the behind the scenes things, and it was hell for some of these people trying to put these out like that.
Right.
So now they can take more time, and to do all the CGI and stuff does take time. So I get it. It's harder to do a longer show now, but still, 8 episodes, really?
It's just not causing them
to do a disservice to some of the properties they're trying to cover.
HBO still does 10. Disney Plus still tends towards 10 most of the time, but it's Amazon that doesn't seem to know how to count their fingers.
They're missing their thumbs.
They're missing a lot.
Yeah.
More than the thumbs.
So I'm looking up in front of me in my recording room. There's a big honking spider on the wall. I'm like, hello. Decided I'm just going to watch every now and then. He starts skittering away. I'm going to leave the screen and go kill him. But he's
kill it with fire.
Now. He's like practically a tarantula. He's huge. Okay, number 8, the Earthsea cycle. Ursula K. Le Guin. That's your number 1, Bill?
Not my number 1, but
it's on your list.
It's number 3.
Okay. Glenn, is that on your list?
No, I left it off because I figured he would.
Okay. Oh yeah, you knew I was going to.
I knew you were going to put. I knew you were going to put it on the list. So
started in '68.
I didn't need to.
Last book actually came out in 2001. Ged, the boy who would become Archmage, discovering the true power does not come from strength, but from understanding balance and the names of things. Le Guin's world of islands, dragons, deep philosophy is simply timeless. So, we could capture this well. I hope we do all agree that sci-fi miniseries didn't really count.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, thank you.
That doesn't exist. There is no adaptation of Earthsea.
This deserves Dune level cinematic adaptation.
Yes.
And if they did that, they would. Bam! This could be another huge hit.
Absolutely. If anybody hasn't read it, pay attention to the prose if you decide to dive into it. Her prose is just one of the most beautiful I've ever read.
One of the best parts about a potential adaptation is that it's a family show.
Oh yeah.
You don't have to say, all right, kids, go to bed. It's time for us to watch Game of Thrones.
Can't look at this part.
Very little violence in this series, which is not typical of fantasy. So I think that's a special one of the things that's special about this that doesn't get mentioned often enough.
Yeah. Now, that's actually one of the reasons, though, it's this level on my top 10. Because these days, people tend to want a little more of that kind of stuff. And the grit and the almost adult level content, they're looking for that. So it's not in this one, but it's still such a good story.
It is.
Yeah. All right. Number 7 does have that kind of stuff. The Fionavar Tapestry, Guy Gavriel Kay. 1984 to 1986. It's just a trilogy. 5 modern students get pulled into Fionavar, the archetypical first world, the root of all myths. I mean, and the trilogy blends Arthurian legend, Norse myth, and heartbreak. Epic, poetic, deeply moving for many readers, deeply troubling for many readers. There's some content in here that is not for the meek, but there have been, some shows that kind of flirt with elements like that. The Sandman, American Gods, getting into some things that are a little more emotionally devastating and troubling at times. This has, I think, more redeeming qualities as well that could make it a pretty solid production. Either you have this one.
I don't have it on my list, but it was one of my honorable mentions.
Okay.
It's on my TBR.
This is it's a trilogy that when I read it, I really didn't entirely like it, but Zach loves it. So I kind of have to put this on for my son. I was
going to say, isn't that the one you're not super loving of his?
I love Guy Gavriel Kay because of his next book, Tagana, after Fionavar Tapestry. Tagana's fantastic. This one, there's nothing wrong with the book. It's just, but it's the stuff I went, that could also make it a great production.
Right. But there is a redemptive arc to that story that I feel like is missing. We have a lot of grim stuff going on in today's fantasy. So it's nice to dive back into something that, shows a positive spin at the end instead of, we're all doomed.
This is where the classic stuff comes in. Yep. And it's so good to go back and read classic fantasy again.
It's that palate cleanser I need after reading Malazan or something. Here we go.
That's
and
Discworld
sometimes
for
just
me.
to give your brain a rest.
Well, Discworld too. That's on my list.
All right, number 6, The Chronicles of Amber, Roger Zelazny.
Yes.
Yeah. 1970 to 1991. An immortal prince with amnesia. I love the way this starts. Wakes to find his, he has no idea who he is or what's going on. But as he stumbles through trying to figure things out, he discovers his family ruling infinite shadow realities, all reflections of the one true world, Amber. So it brings to the screen, if they did an adaptation, family drama, betrayal, duels, political scheming, and of course, infinite worlds to explore. A little bit of Succession meeting Loki.
Yeah. That's exactly what it feels like. Yeah.
And I'm like, mic drop, you're welcome. That would be a killer of a show.
That would be. I completely forgot about that series too. I'm like,
it's not one that
I have it on
sticks
my
in my head.
Okay.
It's one that I've only recently read. It was all right. I wasn't blown away. I liked the first 5 books better than the second 5 books. Like
I'm
I think
with you there, actually.
And that they weren't what I expected them to be. I thought they were going to be a lot better than how I felt they were. So,
yeah, I read the first 5 many years ago. It was one of the first adult tier fantasy series. I mean, there are other books out there that adults read, but kids read too and enjoy that I'd already done. But this is not written for kids. This is adult level fantasy.
Right.
And I read it as a teenager and I loved it. I didn't read the second 5 until much later. And maybe that's why I didn't like them as well, because Zach read all 10 books at the same time and he thinks the second 5 are better. But the things you say about them, Glenn, I agree. They are valid criticisms. There could be more to it, in elements, but I think they could do that in the adaptation. They could lean into some of this and develop it even further without screwing up the original content, just expanding. And I think that could be good.
Agreed. I think that would actually make a very entertaining show. I think it's more our world experience when we read it that makes us cling to those first 5 books.
Probably.
Yeah.
I just like Corwin better.
Totally. Over Merlin. Corwin is better. Yeah. All right. Here's one on my list now that I have not read. I'm familiar with it. I think it's deserving a number 5 based on everything I understand about it. But I haven't read it yet. So I'm interested if you guys have this on here. The Elric saga. You know, the Eternal Champion cycle.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Number 8.
Number 8 on
7.
yours.
7
Okay,
on
you
mine.
both have them, so
Yeah.
I feel like I did a good job including this.
I've only read one book out of it, and that was like 40 years ago, and I don't even remember which one it was.
But it still sticks with you, so there you go. Elric of Melnibone, anti-hero before anti-heroes were cool.
Yep.
A frail sorcerer sustained by a soul-drinking sword. I mean, that's just cool.
Right.
The story is, as I understand it, very tragic, violent,
It is
weirdly
heartbreaking.
beautiful. Yeah. Definitely elements of grimdark before that was really invented. What came to mind for me here is if The Witcher is too cheerful for you, Elric, we need to introduce you to Elric.
Yeah, that is definitely something I remembered from when I tried reading it. It was anything but a happy book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it also captured the sort of beauty and despair. It sort of weaves together this dark sort of tale that does sing to the darker nature in human beings that even lets you sort of sit back and go, you know what? There is beauty in chaos. There is beauty in letting go and losing and recovering from that. So I think it would actually make a very entertaining series on television.
I'm picturing now one of those little wall plaques. There is beauty in chaos. We should be selling those sorts of things, right?
Yeah.
Because there can be. Then there's Jurassic Park. Sometimes chaos is not beautiful. All right.
Because playing God works out so well.
I did just recently see the last Jurassic Park film, which really added nothing incredible, but I still enjoyed it.
I think I missed the last 2.
And ScarJo. She was in this last one, and I enjoy her in anything. I'll admit it.
Frankly, I would watch a movie of her going to pick up my groceries.
Yeah.
Just saying.
You know?
Okay.
All right, number 4 better be on Glenn's list. And Bill, I'll think better of you if it is also on yours. But I know it's got to be on Glenn's list. The Rift War saga.
Oh, it is absolutely number 2 on my
list.
Yes.
Number 2 on my list as well.
All right.
Yeah,
so
definitely number
82
not by itself.
2013.
Not by itself. It's told concurrently with the Empire trilogy on my list.
Well, okay.
They have to be told at the same time. I
count that all as one product, one IP. Yes.
Yeah, those 6 books.
I mean, what you could do with this Rift War saga, there's so much story you could tell. Humorously, I like to try to think of things that have already been done and how we can combine it. Game of Thrones meeting Stargate. Yeah, because
basically,
we're coming this magical rift when 2 worlds collide. One young magician becoming humanity's key to survival. Mechemia has that depth of politics, war, wizardry on an epic scale.
A lot of history.
But then Telewan has this whole other culture, this whole other approach, which is a beautiful mishmash of things we know from our world, done just a different way in the way these things interact and blend. And then we throw in elves, dragons, other really cool things. With modern CGI, this could be a juggernaut.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Very much
this is Game of Thrones level success if you could do it right.
Yep. It's honestly really one I don't know why no one has touched yet.
It's been optioned. There's hopefully going to be something happening with it in the next 5 years. But I know a couple years ago it was the option. I don't remember who bought the options to it, but Empire was part of the option, from what I understand, the Empire trilogy.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that because that's actually, I prefer the Empire trilogy to the initial Rift War trilogy.
Okay.
Barely. Just a little bit.
I'm definitely the other way around, but I think
the Empire has the best written female character.
She's solid.
That I've read.
By the same token, the male character's a little weak in the writing.
Some of them, yeah. I like Arakasi the most. Erika Arakasi, the spy master, is
Sure,
one of my
sure.
favorite fantasy characters.
It's the love interest that's a little weak.
There's that
Very
Kevin.
much.
Yes.
He's an afterthought, and it does come across as an afterthought, but it works within the frame of the story because it
Yeah.
kind of is an afterthought.
That's true, actually. Yeah, that's true. All right. Number 3,
Yeah.
the Silmarillion and the related legendarium. Okay, J.R.R. Tolkien's works, edited by his son Christopher.
Ooh.
This is the grand creation myth of Middle-earth. Gods walk the land, elves rise and fall, Morgoth forging evil in the fires before Sauron is even a thing. I mean, the Rings of Power give us a taste, but that taste is not worth tasting. A full adaptation of the Silmarillion could be the Bible of fantasy brought to life. It would be glorious, it would be heartbreaking, and it would bring content to people that most of them can't get through. I mean, I've read the Silmarillion many times. I love it, but I totally understand why some people are like, this is too dry. This is horrible. I can't understand. Just take the story itself and create an adaptation that could be so glorious. Just like there are a lot of people who still can't read The Lord of the Rings, but love Peter Jackson's adaptation.
Yeah. For me, I can't. I've never made it through.
See, you're one of those people.
I can't. I hit a point where I'm like, I feel like I'm reading an encyclopedia, and that's it. It's a dictionary encyclopedia, and that's it. And I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? I'm not having fun. So I have yet to make it through it, but I do see the bones of where you could absolutely adapt that. But it is such a monster.
I've read it enough times. I don't even think of the pages anymore. I just cinematically see the story happening, which is why I'd be so excited to see it come to the screen, like it's in my head.
I can understand that, but even though I've read it a couple times, I've finished it a couple of times, I should say. It's not something that I really think would work well. I just don't see it working well myself, because there is so much dry there, that is dry. Now, it would be interesting to see, like the opening, Eru Iluvatar and the chorus, with all the Maiar and Valar and all that singing.
Yeah.
That would be kind of interesting to see, but I also think that scene would kind of kill the show. It's the same reason where I would have loved to have seen Goldberry in Lord of the Rings, but that half hour of constant singing would have killed the Fellowship of the Ring.
A lot of this stuff from the Silmarillion could be done very quickly, very briefly, just to give us the essence. And then, I'm picturing the emergence of the elves, and some answering the call and some not. And we don't have to dwell into what all that means, but now we've got the high elves over in the Undying Lands, and the creation of the Silmarils, and the theft of them, and and then don't go, we're going anyways. And a lot of this stuff could happen pretty quick.
I could see it being an anthology, like almost like an hour-long episode for each age. That I could see them pulling off and being able to sort of.
It couldn't be one movie. It's way too much. But
yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, there's way too much lore. You'd get butchered for anything you left out if you tried that.
And then, the ending with the entire breaking of the world, and that part of the world sinking beneath the waves, and the break from the Undying Land and the creation of Numenor, and, these last things that set up what everybody else knows now.
Right.
That could be cool. Number 2 for me, might be controversial for some, but I would love to see a high-quality adaptation of the Chronicles of Thomas Covenant. Stephen R. Donaldson, 77-13.
Wow.
It's a story that, a lot of people don't connect with, but I think if we did an adaptation well, it could be great. This man with leprosy from our world, summoned into a magical land, hailed as its savior, except he refuses to believe anything around him is real. So you get some dark, uncomfortable stuff. It's thought-provoking.
Yeah. It's like atheist John Carter is how it feels.
Yeah. I mean, it deconstructs the chosen one trope.
It
He's like,
does.
screw
Very
that.
much.
I'm not chosen. I'm nope. I refuse to be anybody of significance. And yet he's still the chosen one.
These are
It,
some of my favorite books
okay.
by far. I have not finished the last quadrilogy. I think the last 2 books I haven't finished.
Is that a word?
I have to
Quadrology?
Yeah, we get what he means.
somewhere.
Quartet,
I have.
quadrology. I think it's technically a tetralogy when it's 4.
I think both are. Yeah. I plan on rereading the first 6 before I read. First 8 before I read the last 2. But this series, as much as I love it, it was actually at the top of my sheet. It says flat out, please no adaptations of Realm of the Elderlings or Thomas Covenant Chronicles. Just because there's so much content in those stories that would be painful or hard for people to watch. I especially don't think Thomas Covenant would work on TV. I think a certain event would happen in the first episode or 2, and 80% of the audience would refuse to come back.
Interesting. It's a pivotal foundational event that happens in that first few pages. Yes. I know exactly what you mean.
I do
think
too.
Modern audiences, some of them would get it though.
Yeah,
there's a psychological depth to what's happening, and in the introduction of a moral complexity that, for example, a show like Breaking Bad shouldn't have worked either, because it's got such a dichotomy of values being portrayed on the screen, and yet people sucked it down like meth.
I think setting that trauma foundation would be one of the key elements if you were going to do it, because it brings up the question, how does one move on from there, and how does that affect them? That's one of the hooks. So yeah, I could see modern audience not liking it by any means, but being able to be like, oh, that's horrible, but at the same time, now what?
Yeah, where is this going?
Yeah,
my son would not watch it, and guarantee it. So there are people of this time who would reject this, but I think there's enough that would do it if it was done well.
Covenant is one of the most unlikable characters I have ever encountered, with reason. I mean, you understand why he's doing what he's doing, even if you don't agree or believe he's right. You understand why, but he's still a rotten piece of crap. I mean, what was that? What was
my life? I have empathy for this guy.
I mean, he's a worse character. He's a worse character than that wannabe Captain Marvel or Captain America in the Thunderbolts movie.
Well,
the one from, that guy was a terrible person, and Thomas Covenant makes him look like a saint. So
I think you're being really harsh, Glenn, but I respect your opinion.
I've always looked at him as sort of the House of fantasy.
A
guy who's in a situation where he just does not care about your opinion, and you are not going to foist any of your crap on him, and he's going to let you know if you try.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily that I dislike.
That's cool. House, by the way, what a great show. Loved that show. All right. Number 1.
Here we go.
Is kind of a cheat, but it belongs here anyways. The Dragon Riders of Pern.
My number 1.
There it is.
My number 6.
Okay.
My number 6.
McCaffrey.
No, Dragon Riders of Pern, my number 4. I'm sorry.
Okay. 1968. 4. Technically 1967, because the first book was a couple short stories and then was turned into one book and published with some extra content. And then I think the last one came out in 2012. I might be wrong. There might be one that's later than that, actually.
Yeah.
Because of her kids.
Yeah.
Like Gigi McCaffrey, I think, did one later than that. But anyways, dragons and riders bonded for life, fighting deadly spores called thread that fall from the sky. It is science fiction. It really is. You pay attention to the prologue. It's science fiction.
It is.
But it's disguised as fantasy. It has a lot of the tropes. So you've got a mix of epic adventure, intricate culture, deep emotional bonds. I mean, there's some real feels in this series between humans and dragons, between humans and humans. McCaffrey's world, it's vast, it's beautiful,
it's rich.
It's ready.
I cried
for
a
streaming masterpiece. This would need to be not a movie. This needs to be a series.
There's no way. You can't movie this.
So this would be some of the depth of House of the Dragon, but way better. Meeting the expanse in its scope and some of the sci-fi elements that are hidden within. And then telepathic dragons who actually like their riders. I mean, that's a win right there. Majestic, cinematic, way overdue.
Almost got it.
I mean, nobody's touched this yet, have they? I couldn't find any.
In 2002, they had it. They had scripts, sets built days from filming.
Really?
Ronald D. Morris was going to be the showrunner. He sent the final script for the first episode to, I don't remember which network. They sent it back with so many notes, it annihilated the story, and he walked. He walked. He did what a good showrunner who believes in their story would do when the studio says, no, we're making 100,000 changes. He walked. That meant we got no Dragon Riders of Pern, but it means we could still potentially get it done right in the future.
True.
And I wish 5 years ago, another showrunner had said, no, we're not doing that with all the changes the network wants. Instead, we got a show that lasted 3 seasons when it could have lasted more.
Yeah, there.
So, yeah, this is the one that I want to see more than anything else, even though it's not my number one on the list, because my number one on the list I actually think would be better, but I don't want it as much, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get you. Yeah.
Yeah, I want Dragon Riders of Pern, but I think there are others that would be better.
Okay. Just envisioning this a faithful adaptation with the capabilities we have right now for this story would be so incredible. I'd struggle with the casting because my mind has certain images for each of these characters so ingrained that if they totally mess with that, I could see myself going, holy heck, I don't know if I can watch this now. But just someone who actually pays attention to how these people are described, who they are, and cast it even faithfully to the intent.
Yeah,
I would love to see that. Wow.
Yeah, this is one series that I would no matter who put it out, I would pay to see.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd go
100%.
Whatever I'd have to do.
No questions asked. I'm paying to see it.
Yeah.
I would definitely subscribe to whatever streamer put this out or network.
All right, so that's my top 10 and my honorable mention. Let's go back and forth between the two of you for which other ones are on your lists, and kind of start with your weaker ones and work your way up. What do you have?
I'll let Glenn go first because I'm sure we're going to have a lot of overlap.
Glenn, hit us.
I got an honorable mention. I had 2 honorable mentions. My first was the Belgariad and the Malorian, but my second is Piers Anthony's The Apprentice Adept series. It's fantasy and science fiction, both. So you get both in the thing. The reason why I kept it on the honorable mentions, because I don't think it would work without a serious change on the science fiction side that is necessary by standards and practices, but might piss off some readers for not being accurate, and that's having characters wear clothes. Because on the sci-fi side, everybody's naked.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that would be a big sticking point with the audience. I think everybody
there are
would
people
understand.
who would bitch. There are people who would bitch.
Probably.
Okay, I don't think it would bother rational, sane people. How's that?
Right.
But there are some producers of Game of Thrones out there going, yes, finally a show where everyone's naked.
Yeah.
Because they were pushing, hey, we need more TNA. We need more TNA.
They have different
with that Game of Thrones.
They have different internet channels for that sort of thing.
Right.
They're free, so you don't need it in your TV. I'm just saying.
But the first on my actual list at number 10 is also by Piers Anthony, and that's The Incarnations of Immortality. And this is a world where all the different jobs like death, God, the devil, time.
Death was my favorite.
They're all the incarnations of immortality. They're a job that a person has to fill.
Interesting.
And the first one is Upon a Pale Horse, and it's a guy who takes over the role of death. And it's pretty interesting. You can't go wrong with this series. It's one of the better fantasy series of the 80s and 90s, I think.
Excellent.
Bill?
Excellent. How about you, Bill?
Honorable mention is actually not quite fall within our time, but it's a book called The Hampier.
Ah,
it is a
I
series.
am familiar with that.
It's by Barb and J.C. Hendy. I love this series with
Uh-huh.
a passion. It's lesser known, but it is very rich and sort of mystery driven almost, with the main character's sort of lineage and everything mixed in with her half elf partner. It's a great story. But that was my honorable mention. My number 10 is Xanth, the Xanth series by
Okay.
Piers Anthony.
I
I
loved
think
the
there
Xanth
is
series back in the day.
amazing potential in there for a younger market.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
I
a lot of the
honestly
younger
do.
people now really don't like those Xanth books, though, because of claims of misogyny and just
Eh,
they
eh,
don't like it. And I'm like, they just don't get it. They're taking it
It's
too seriously.
that's
Yeah,
adjustable, and if you don't like puns, don't bother
the
because
puns are
they're
so rich.
everywhere.
some of the best puns I've
I'd
ever
watch
read
it.
were in
I'd
those
watch
books.
that, even though, yeah, I think you would be going for a younger crowd, really, but I'd still watch it. Love it. All right, Glenn, what's another one that we didn't hit from
Um,
yours?
this one is one I haven't read, but I've been aware of it for as long as I can remember, and that's Glenn Cook's Black Company.
Ah,
One of the most famous mercenary bands in fantasies, from what I can tell.
foundational
There's,
content.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah, there's like 10 books in the series. I just haven't gotten around to them, even though the guy shares a name with me. So I will one of these days. They're high on my TBR for when I start reading fantasy again. They'll
I
be up
think
there.
there is a new book coming out. He had
Ooh,
intended to write two more, and I think one is like there's a date now. So
nice.
yeah, this might be the time to be jumping into the Black Company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds like now's the time if you want to.
Bill, what's another from yours?
The Demon War Saga by R.A. Salvatore. I
Oh, okay.
loved that series. The whole world of Corona. And it has a sort of sequel series called The Highwayman that is excellent. Revolves around these magic stones and this demon dactyl waking up that sort of plagues the land and the people who have to come together and the church that's trying to stop them. So you sort of get this weird religious thing going on
Mm-hmm.
where they're pretending to try and stop it, but they're not really trying to stop it because they benefit from it in a certain way. You got to
Yeah,
read it and see
Hmm.
it, but it's got everything you need. It's got political drama, it's got romance, just a tad, but just a touch.
just
You know,
enough. A
just
taste.
enough of friends who finally pull the trigger type of romance.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
It's got magic. I mean, it's really good. I think
Nice.
it would be a great series.
Okay. Here's
I've
another
heard a
good
lot of
one.
good stuff.
Glenn, something else?
At number 7, I have one that Sci-Fi Channel has tried twice to do an
Ooh,
adaptation of. Both times they screwed up. Both times they tried for a film instead of a TV series. But Philip Jose Farmer's Riverworld series.
ooh,
Everybody
Riverworld.
who dies before 1979, I think, finds himself waking up naked in the 25-year-old body along the course of an infinitely long river.
You got naked on the mind today.
He does. I'm
Yeah,
telling you,
yeah.
Glenn's turning into a
I
dirty
mean,
old man.
turning into Ben one. Yeah, but it just it's a mystery. The series has a mystery of why everybody's been brought back to life, how and by who, and
Okay.
there's a lot of famous people from history and from history that are in this. Mark Twain is a main character. Richard Francis Burton is a major character. Lots of other people. I'll leave that to people to find out who else though when they read it.
Sure.
But a lot of people from the real world make
Okay.
appearances.
This is turning into a fascinating list. Again, highlighting so much great content from the past. Bill, what's another one you've got we haven't talked about?
Okay, this one of the ones my wife and I bonded over. I read this in junior high. It's called The Dark Sword
Yep.
Trilogy
Series.
by Weiss and Hickman. I love this. The first three books are amazing. The fourth, not so much, but the first three books are amazing. And just the Dark Sword trilogy is so good. I
Okay.
mean, we have a man who's born basically a prince, only he has no magic. And in this society, magic is everything. They're considered lifeless if they don't have any magic, and they're basically slaves.
Okay.
He decides to run away after stuff happens, and discovers a way to forge a sword that drinks magic.
Nice.
The
So,
dark sword.
the dark sword. And his obsession with claiming his birthright as the ruler of the realm, even though he has no magic. It's great and literally has everything. I love this series with a passion. I wish there was more.
Okay. So we're seeing themes. Glenn's into the naked people. Bill's into the people who don't have magic. Because you also brought the wait, no, that was Glenn who did the
That was
Xanth
Glenn.
series.
Yeah.
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 Sorry. I thought I was making a connection.
Almost had me. Almost had me.
All right, Glenn, got another one?
This one I know you've read. I know you love it, and that's at number 5 is Guy Gavriel Kay's Tigana. I think Tigana
Yeah.
would be an amazing micro series, like maybe one season of 10 to 12 episodes. It doesn't need more than that.
Right.
I don't think. I
Not
think
that big a
12
story.
episodes. Yeah, 12 episodes would tell this story perfectly. You could probably do it in 10. It was one of the most lovely fantasy books I've ever read in my life. Some of the most amazing
Nice.
prose and just very poignant and emotional story. Very emotionally charged story.
No, I hear you.
Yeah, this is definitely one that I think would do well on television, and probably not just do well, but also get a lot of awards, I think.
It's got a lot of the elements. It's, in my recollection, one of the best standalone fantasy novels I've ever read. Because the trilogy is so popular and the series, it's hard to pull off a single book that is as captivating as Tigana is. So good one. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bill, any more?
Discworld is on my list. I know we have The Watch. It is enjoyable, but at the same time, I think a bigger, expansive universe is there waiting to be tapped. Yeah.
They've tapped into Discworld a lot. Some of them are good. Hogfather was really good.
Oh, yeah. It's one of my favorites. It's a good Christmas read.
So how would you want to see them bring it out? A big streaming series, multiple seasons, or just a mini series hitting a few key plot lines? I mean, Discworld is so weird because it's not just this linear story.
Yeah, it's not.
It's all these bits and pieces. So
you don't get step for step. Honestly, I think it would be great as a miniseries to pump out a couple of the stories and have them linked together, whether it be from an object or person, doesn't matter. But I think a miniseries would be great. And then after that, you see if there's an appetite. Are people going to want this? And if they are, that's when the business heads can jump in, because there is a series in there if you want to do the work.
If you want to, yeah.
I don't know if they're willing to do the work.
There's a lot of series in there, I would say.
Yeah.
All
right, Glenn, what's another one you've got?
I've got a couple more. The Deed of Paxenarian by Elizabeth Moon. This is the one that, above all other recommendations I have ever given you, Jim, I think this is the trilogy for you.
I haven't read that one.
The Sheep Farmer's Daughter is probably one of the best female-written and female-focused fantasy stories I've ever read. It's about a woman who isn't happy with the idea of being just a wife to a sheep farmer, and so she runs away from home and ends up joining a mercenary band and becoming a warrior. And it goes into a lot more detail, a lot of depth of that. There's a lot of politics. There's a lot of religious stuff going on. It's a series that talks a lot about faith and belief and moralities and stuff like that. Part of the reason, from what I understand, that she wrote this is she wanted to write a story of how a paladin should behave. And instead of getting lawful stupid, we get a lawful good paladin. And Paxenarian is one of my favorite characters because of that.
It's on my TBR, but it's not very high up. So on your recommendation, I will raise it up. I'll get to that sooner.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. All right.
Did you have another one, Bill?
I'm going to throw this one out there. It is supposed to be becoming a series by Mike Flanagan, The Dark Tower.
Oh.
The Dark Tower.
Even I know that one needs to be made.
One of my great loves in life is the Dark Tower.
So we're talking about Stephen King's Dark Tower.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because
Yes.
they made a movie.
Oh, that
It's
doesn't
trash.
exist. I don't know
I
what
mean,
you're talking about.
there were people in it who tried, but they did not capture that story.
No.
Yeah.
But Mike Flanagan is supposedly creating this, and I am so excited that I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, you know,
I'm looking forward to it.
tattoos. My wall back here is covered in Dark Tower stuff.
Okay. I would love to. I've been to the tower twice.
I just love it.
Loved it the second time even more than the first time.
Right?
Oh goodness, yeah. No, I thank you for throwing that one in there. We need a worthy, faithful adaptation.
I mean, I need to see Eddie. I need Susanna. I need Jake, and I really need Oi.
Jake, ache. Yeah, we need Oi. Totally. Okay, Glenn, you said you had one more.
I have one left. It's my number one. I know both of you gentlemen have read this series. It's the Memory and Sorrow and Thorn trilogy by Tad Williams. I cannot think of a single fantasy series that is more deserving of an adaptation than Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. It inspired George R.R. Martin to write A Song of Ice and Fire. If he hadn't read Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, he would have been sticking to everything else, the science fiction and the modern fantasy. He wouldn't have gone for epic fantasy.
Do you think he can finish it if he rereads? Get reading, George.
Maybe.
Man, oh man.
But yeah, Tad Williams wrote a masterpiece with Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, and he's expanded the universe beyond. Mm-hmm. We've already talked about beautiful prose from a couple of people already on this list, but Tad Williams, I think, is among the very best ever at prose, especially in the genre of fantasy.
His prose is amazing.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong reading Tad Williams. It's always something special.
And yet the story is beautiful.
And
because
the story is beautiful.
Yeah. You can do amazing prose, but the story is a little weak or a bit of a yawner. No, not this stuff. Tad Williams is excellent storyteller.
Yeah, very strong storytelling. A story that will pull people in, I think. In a way that other stories on this list would. Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, along with the Belgariad and the Malorian, are part of why I figured out Randall Thor. So
there it is.
It's that repetitive red hair character. Gee, go figure.
All right, so we've got everything that was on your lists, both of you,
pretty
right?
Much, yeah. Between the two of you, yeah.
Man.
Yeah, we said Dragonlance, right? Chronicles and Legends, both.
Dragonlance.
We didn't have Dragonlance.
No,
I did. I missed that one. My number 6 is actually Dragonlance Chronicles and Legends.
Okay.
The initial 6 books by by Weiss and Hickman.
Let's stop at 6, though.
Yes, please.
Yes, because when Bill and I talked about some of the books being painful, the painful book was book 7.
I mean,
yeah,
that experience was gut-wrenching and at the same time infuriating. I don't know what the hell happened, but rereading that was just painful. I'm like, nope.
The thing with Dragonlance is, I mean, it was so foundational for a lot of us. We read it very early. It was the first time D&D is coming to the page in such a way that we're like, this is the world we love already. And here we're seeing it alive with such engaging characters. But I'm almost like, is the story enough to make a real big adaptation out of? It's almost too simple. I mean, you'd have to do both trilogies. You couldn't do just the first one.
Right.
You need, because it's the bigger story of the second one that I need to see, but you don't understand that without the foundation of the first one. So it would have to be a set deal. Yeah.
If they had the money to do it, I would say the CW, because that's just tonally perfect, I think, for Dragonlance. But I just don't see the CWs having the money to fund a Dragonlance show.
And CW sometimes leans too much into the humor then, rather than staying serious with their content. Sometimes, not always.
Sometimes,
this is not a series. I mean, there are funny moments, but it's
there's
not
a lot of fun, a lot of humor. There's a lot of humor,
There
especially
is.
anytime
I mean,
Flint
Chapel
opens his
Hall.
mouth.
There's
Well,
Pass
yeah.
off and Flint.
and Flint. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, casting would be a rough one on that.
You think?
Yeah, because we know exactly what those characters look like. So there you have it, viewers. Incredible fantasy series, just waiting for modern studios to do them justice. Which ones from our list do you most want to see on the screen? And what other ones? What did we miss that's so dear to your heart that it's gotta be there someday? Drop it in the comments. We'd love to see your favorite classics that you want adaptations for. Coming soon, Zach and I, yes, the rarely seen son of the
He does exist,
father-son
we
Fantasy
swear.
of the Ages duo, we will be creating a top 10 countdown of the more modern fantasy series that also are ripe for quality adaptation. So keep an eye out for that episode. Really, it's coming soon. If you enjoyed this countdown, please give it a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and consider becoming a patron. Check out our Patreon page. See what kind of perks come to those special few that support us and keep this coming regularly. Also, look in the show notes. The link there for the Non-Terrestrial Half-Life YouTube channel is waiting for you. An easy way to find these guys and their special content out there. I enjoy it. It's a great way to look at classic books. You know, how do we feel about them now? And just fun discussions, thought-provoking at times as well, and reminders of some great books that are worthy of looking at again. Bill, Glenn, thank you for being here today. This has been a blast.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
It's always fun to come on your show.
Always a pleasure. And for all of you, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.